FULCRUM, a Star Wars podcast. Your way of tapping into the Force from a galaxy far, far away. Hello there.
Hello, what have we here? Here's where the fun begins.
Count me in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to FULCRUM, a Star Wars podcast where we are concluding another season's rewatch of Star Wars Rebels. This is the Season 2 finale, Twilight of the Apprentice, Part I and II. Both episodes are directed by Dave Filoni and written by Dave Filoni, Simon Kinberg, and Stephen Melching. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. We got an important name in the writing credits this week. Simon Kinberg. This is the first episode we're recording on the other side of the news that he could potentially be penning the next 3 episodes of the Star Wars saga. And if these are anything to go by, it's a pretty good sign. How are you feeling about the Season 2 finale here?
Yeah, the initial announcement of him was taken with a grain of salt. I don't know, just looking at all his other creds. But Rebels was definitely the one to be okay. I'm like, okay, let's wait and give this guy a chance. And these 2 episodes, I think, are some pretty good examples of that. I mean, as far as I think we're recording wise, we're fresh off the finale of The Penguin, a premiere HBO show. So a little bit different league there. But for this kind of a show, this finale is actually kind of nuts.
It's electric, man.
Yeah,
it gets me fucking going.
Yeah, I wish I could have watched this live as it was coming out to to see Maul again, to see Vader, just to imagine this moment in the real world Star Wars community would have been pretty cool to see. But man, no, the show's only been getting better and better. And I think it's just kind of they peaked with these finale episodes here. So I mean, it's
right.
These probably, if I had to pick my favorite episodes of the season so far, it might be these. I guess or of the show in totality.
Certainly, two that you think of instantly whenever people ask you your favorite episodes of Rebels. You naturally go to Ahsoka versus Vader. That's a very easy one to go to because that scene is really, really good, and I'm glad they cleared something up for us. Which is that. In previous weeks, we've been like, Ahsoka almost certainly knows that's Anakin, right? I forgot that she was living in denial of the reality that... And we'd commented on how it is denial, but I'd forgotten they confirmed that that's the case. That was nice. That was nice to see.
Yeah, very... I mean, I think by now, kind of this is the 3rd attempt that she's thought of could it actually be him, And then she's still even face to face with Vader. She's like, yeah, no. There's no way my master.
There's no fucking shot. Anakin was the best, dude. There's no fucking way it's you. That'd be insane. That'd be too far of a fall for one person to do. Yeah, no, I really, really appreciate it. It's a devastating entry. I think that I love that you could tell they've always had a plan for what they were going to do with Ahsoka. Because she is walking out of that fight alive, which is not the impression you're going to get, given where we end that fight, I should say, not end the episode. Ending the episode, you're like, oh, is this some sort of metaphysical representation of her soul descending? No, she's alive.
This kind of a wild finale. I'm trying to remember what happened at the very, very end of the season 1 finale, but this one just feels so we are down in the dumps. Things are just shit, and then also we're just going so many different directions. I feel like
it's our Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it's man, I don't know, cooking up a storm here to let season 3 really, really ride. They set up a completely kind of just, they could go anywhere they want with this. But man, I can't believe I've never looked at these episodes and been like, holy shit, is this possibly what ancient Egypt was like back in the day? Or was this what the pyramids were used for? If I find a holocron, put it up in the fucking king's chamber. Does it actually
it's
laser
a battle
beam?
station?
Yeah, I hope not. I really hope not, and I hope they're not evil structures. But man, I don't know. It was just a cool what do you call it? Cool, just art direction. I don't know. Just
Oh
the
yeah.
design of all of this was super cool.
The little
The
holes in the
mm,
ceiling on the ground on the
mm-hmm.
surface, like that's fucking beautiful. My favorite shot from the first episode of these two is definitely whenever Kain and Ahsoka and Ezra
Mm,
like fall down there and then walk to the cliffside and see it all. Like
mm-hmm.
it's
Oh,
beautiful. That's kind of like when you drawing a giant fucking landscape with a couple characters looking out at it's got to be like the best. Like
mm,
that's got to be an ideal state of affairs.
mm. Yeah, in a universe where you can have any world you want, like, and this is Malachor. I don't know if it's ever been brought up before, but it's like off limits to Jedi. It's never been seen. It's just an evil
Right.
Sith planet, I guess, and these like the black like I don't know, obelisk looking things, just the super tall
Mhm.
things that are sticking out of the ground. Like I don't is that just kind of that's part of the base? Like that's part of the kind of the temple, or is that just part of the planet? Like is this just a Sith planet completely, or like what like I don't know. I was Malachor actually got me kind of thinking of like um if the Jedi knew that it was just kind of evil and just to stay away, or if it's like no, like this is a battle station of a planet, and like we cannot go there. Like you, I was wondering if like this Maul being down there and having two necessary, like you need two people in order to open the doors. I was just wondering if like this is just a ploy of the Sith. I don't know. It's just like it seems like the perfect like gotcha scheme of joining the Sith whenever you really don't want to.
Mm.
It's because
Well, and maybe that's what it's become, but I think
mm-hmm,
that it's all speculation at this point, but I do think that it was a Sith stronghold during the Jedi Sith
mm,
War.
mm-hmm,
Like I think it maybe a base of some sort, a battle station. Like this
okay,
is where they regrouped. I think that
mm,
I I do see it having become that kind of, obviously with the two people being required to do everything, the Sith are shown to be a little ritualistic with their rule of two ending up being a thing.
mm-hmm,
Maybe it's just some dark foreshadowing for them that ends up being the case because I guess we don't know the timeline of when that is,
mm-hmm.
when this battle was fought, when the rule of two is established, because if the Jedi and Sith were fighting, the Sith had not done a
Mm,
two-person thing yet.
that's
Um,
true. Okay, yeah, I guess. Huh? Oh yeah. Maybe this temple was just kind of open to all. I guess back then it's
right.
just there were so many Sith that you didn't need. Yeah, there were plenty of people to go around to get in there. But man, yeah, I guess the timeline of Star Wars going way back in the day. The only thing I have back then is the Acolyte. That's like and that's the furthest
Hmm.
back I go. So anything
Yeah, and I
further than
mean,
that,
like whatever they're doing here is thousands of years
mm-hmm.
before that,
Yeah.
even. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, we're talking ancient shit in this one.
Mm.
But I do think that the obelisks on the surface. My guess is it's some sort of like dark side tech, not strictly a product
Mm.
of the actual planet. Like, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it's naturally occurring. And maybe it was naturally occurring and it's imbued now with some sort
Mm.
of dark side energy that does that. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ahsoka's
it's
starting
it's it's real cool.
to read the language too. Like she's like, I can make out a few words, and then Ezra's kind of getting, in a trance by it. But like in the background, you hear Ahsoka like, I feel like she's speaking
Yeah,
Sith,
reading it.
which
Yeah,
is
she probably is.
yeah, which is kind of I don't know. It's just I guess 3PO. It's just forbidden for him because he's a robot. It's not like Ahsoka's like,
Right.
oh, I cannot speak these words or else I will be banished or I don't know.
Yeah.
But man, yeah,
Well, she's
that.
already left the Jedi. Maybe it would have been a thing within the Jedi, but
Yeah, I'm assuming the Jedi don't take too kindly to speaking the language of the enemy, but man, no, this I don't know. Is it just as simple as if anyone touches this, that it just crumbles and breaks the ground, or is like Ezra a little bit special because
specifically,
yeah, because he's not really a Jedi. He does have a little bit of dark side tendencies, or not maybe dark side tendencies, but he's okay to kind of tap into it a little bit.
He's susceptible to that pull, yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I take it that given the reaction from Kanan and Ahsoka and their caution, my guess is that it would have happened to anybody. He just happened to be the one who was seduced by it. And I think maybe more than anything, that is the goal of it, is to seduce somebody to touch it so that they fall underneath. It's just that Ahsoka and Kanan had too much self-control to do that. Ezra was just kind of like, whoa, cool thing, touch it. You know, like, that's kind of how I look at it. But, yeah, no, Malikor's fascinating art design. The sabers we find down there, we get the crossguard sabers, that Ezra lights up, which is cool. We get a third Inquisitor here, that I don't think we've seen yet. That I don't know. Is this what's this fuck from Ahsoka?
Oh, fucking M? Does it start with an M? I feel like
it starts with an M.
Malik, Merrick.
Yes,
no,
Marok.
Yeah. Okay, because he does fall. He does have the same fucking helmet. Like, his helmet does look actually very similar.
Right? I mean, like, I don't know for a fact that this is Marok, but, like, that's what I thought.
I mean, we see the dude fall. You know, we see the other two die. Like, sadly, we do have to say goodbye to, what is it, the sixth sister? Or seventh sister?
The seventh. Seventh sister and fifth brother.
Man. Yeah, seven sisters. I don't really care about the fifth brother a lot too much, but man, I don't know. Just
Seven Sisters dope. Yeah,
she's just so cool. But yeah, the other guy, I was kind of like, wow, that's how he goes, huh? You know, just a little helicopter fly away, and then it breaks and fall to his death. But we're in the Star Wars universe, you know. If you fall to your death, I mean,
he's
we have
got
Maul.
The Force.
Yeah, we got Maul right there,
cushion the fall. Yeah,
Maul was chopped in half and fell to his death.
Yeah.
You know, and that dude's chilling. So I feel like, yeah, I never even thought about that. Kind of a cool through line that they maybe could confirm in Ahsoka season 2. But Marok
could do something with it. Marok's dead there.
Yeah, he missed it, right? Yeah, I guess he kind of just missed it away. Yeah, it felt like he was dead. But I don't know, the helmet.
Well, that's the thing, is that it wouldn't even matter, you know, like it would just be kind of an interesting little detail to have noticed, that he was in Rebels and was at this battle, and then he's also in Ahsoka. Like, I think it might be an Easter egg, if nothing else.
Yeah. And how long has Maul been crashed down there for? You know, like how long, and how long is that guy, if it is Marok? I think it's kind of cool. I'll call him Marok for now, just so he has a name. But like, if Marok is down there hunting him, like how long has he been? How long have they known that Maul was there and
That's
going
true.
to hunt him and stuff like that? It
is a new Inquisitor. We've never seen this one, so like, he's clearly been tasked with Maul. I don't know. That is a interesting query to know how long Maul has been down there. I take it's probably been a decent amount of time. You know, he's like, I've been surviving on scraps and all that good stuff. Sam Witwer is fucking incredible as Maul.
Like it finally to get him, I don't know, as Maul. It was very nice. I couldn't go with anyone else for the first episode.
Right.
So, you know, we got a little. It kind of feels obligatory for the second episode. Just whenever you got a James Earl Jones, but
you got a powerful,
I
powerhouse of a voice booming there.
I was rewatching last night, and Ashley Eckstein kind of was like stacking up with him, like as like going side by side with James Earl Jones is kind of nuts. But I think I'm still gonna stick with James Earl Jones. Just I don't know, he comes in. And,
Ashley Eckstein would have been the other option for sure, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm got to go with her for the character at the end there.
I think there's a certain specialness. Yeah, I mean, she's definitely the character in the second episode, but there's something really special and rare about what we get to watch James Earl Jones perform here, which is the only time aside from the end of Revenge of the Sith where he is acting like Anakin Skywalker. Acting knowing he's Anakin Skywalker, I should say, you know, and given full context of who Anakin Skywalker is. Obviously, in the 5th and 6th movie, I am your father, and he, like all that stuff. We get to recontextualize that now that we know who Anakin Skywalker is. But this is the first time James Earl Jones would have any actual tangible evidence of who that character was. And seeing him perform like what would have been relatively deep cut, because there are still Star Wars fans who are just fans of the movies and have no idea that Ahsoka exists and stuff like that. So like, it's really interesting to see him perform Vader in that context, and then to hear Matt Lanter come back to voice him whenever it's the voice modulator's been damaged, and then you will die. That's good stuff, man.
You bring up a good point. I wonder the percentage of the Star Wars community that just doesn't even know who Ahsoka is, who just have watched the movies and that is it.
It's a little more unlikely now that Star Wars fans, with the show. Yeah. But at the time of this, certainly not the case. In 2016.
Majority? Like
100%.
Maybe even
it would have been a minority that had engaged in Clone Wars, and it probably still is, which is bizarre. I mean, like, it's not going to be a minority of the people you engage with online who are like, yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan, I love Star Wars. Usually if you've decided to dedicate any degree of time to this stuff, you've engaged with it a little bit further. But
I've seen I don't know, there's a new meme template going around of I love blank, and then it's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But two completely different things.
From 500 Days of Summer. Yeah.
And, I didn't know it was actually, okay, that's cool. It is from something. That's just how offline I am, I guess, or unknown. But there was a Star Wars one, and it was like, yeah, I love Star Wars. And it was just the prequel movies. And then the other one was like all the books, every TV show, just everything. And it's like, people were saying like, man, you're not even giving this stuff a chance and blah, blah, blah. But to me, it's like, hey, if you love Star Wars in any capacity at all, like that's cool. You don't have to.
That's I will never ever gatekeep in any capacity. The most real world example of this that I've ran into was a coworker I had probably a couple years ago now. Close to it anyway. That was, oh, you're a Star Wars fan. Hell yeah. He had like a tattoo of the Darksaber on his forearm and stuff. Like he was a big Star Wars guy. And I can't remember what show was on at the time, but I asked him what he thought of it. He was like, oh, it's fucking awful. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Wow. Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, all right. It was one of those, and I'm like, I can't remember. I wish I could remember which season of television was on. But
sounds like a Book of Boba Fett complainer.
I think it was. I think it was timing wise.
I don't know why. It feels like because Mando season 1, 2, no way.
He was a big Mando guy.
Yeah,
he was a big Mando guy.
I feel like either there's no way Andor. I mean, if it was Andor, then
dude,
holy shit.
Don't sleep on the amount of people who don't like Andor. It's kind of mind-boggling.
Really?
I posted a TikTok recently that was like my top 3 Star Wars shows, and at 3 I had The Bad Batch, at 2 I had Rebels. And my comments were filled with Andor at 1 was extremely unexpected, and I was like, I don't know how you could possibly think that, but
what's the expected show? Is it Mando?
Clone Wars.
Or whoa?
Yeah.
Really?
No, like, yes, yeah, like that's when it comes to people our age, prequel babies, the Clone Wars is untouchable for people of our generation, and that's what that fan I was referring to a little bit ago was. He was, Clone Wars through and through. That was his favorite TV. I'm like, and to each their own. I'm down for it, but given that I'd gone with Bad Batch and Rebels, I think people expected that I was going to go with Clone Wars. And,
I see.
Clone Wars, I saw a bunch of Clone Wars is undisputedly the best. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Not to me.
It undisputedly has the biggest characters in it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
for
which
the
is
whole time. But man,
all
no,
that matters.
I guess we've talked about just the format and anthology and how that just, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't quite do it for us. But man, yeah, I guess it is crazy to think about just all the different favorites that people do have. But I mean, I don't know how you. That's crazy. I don't know. That is still, I guess I am in my own brain, and I have to put myself in another person's shoes. But to put Clone Wars above this show is kind of nuts. I feel like,
no, I couldn't do it.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, like, and this is a really good example of why. Like, this is obviously one of the more well regarded episodes of Rebels. You know, like people talk about this a lot with the Ahsoka versus Vader fight. But this is a relatively normal episode for Rebels.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't entirely outside of the norm. Like, obviously it's special, and there's a lot of characters meeting, and there's, we get Maul and Ahsoka fighting side by side with Ezra and Kanan to fight Inquisitors and Vader. That's fucking cool. You know, like, on paper, that's just fucking cool. But it's not entirely outside the bounds of what this show is, and the only episodes of Clone Wars I can think you can even compare to it are the fucking Mortis episodes.
Yeah.
And
dang. That's true.
Like that's the only shit you. I mean, in terms of just pure subject matter. Like, obviously, you do get Ahsoka versus Maul in the finale, the Siege of Mandalore, and all that good stuff.
I guess
but that doesn't feel the way that this does. You know, like, I'm talking like the mythical Force stuff. That's Mortis is really the only time that you even get a feel for any of that. And Rebels, I feel like, turns that up to 10, which is cool.
Yeah, this, I don't know. Good old. It is crazy that this is kind of just like they happen to run into Maul. Like this is just what the Rebels crew does. They're just going around. This has been a plan for a while. I don't know. They've been like, yeah, we're about to leave. We don't even know what we're going to encounter. We're probably going to die. It's like we don't know what's going to happen, and it's been building towards it the whole time. And I don't know. I feel like, yeah, it's in a non-anthology show where you can do that, and it doesn't have to just be a 2-3 episode arc, to build up those feelings and everything. It is kind of like this whole season and the whole show, we've seen him just go against Inquisitors and barely get out. And now, you have 3 Inquisitors and Vader there. It's like and Maul, Maul's another piece that's thrown in there, which he does say, I'm the enemy, or I am. What it always fucks with my brain every time I try to bring it back up. But he's like, your enemy is my enemy. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's just your enemy is my enemy now. But also, he's obviously trying to get Ezra on his side. He wants to get Kanan out of there. He wants to. Maul's plan went to perfection, and Kanan did die there, and Ahsoka. He somehow gets Ahsoka down, and he goes back up there. Like, is this like way worse than the Death Star? Like, this feels like it's a sentient Death Star. It's like, oh, I want to destroy these planets. Go ahead and do it, please. Is it like an AI Death Star kind of thing?
I don't know. And it felt like it was about to take off. Like it was going to plummet through the surface is kind of how I took what it was about to do.
Okay, that's fair. Because I guess it did beam that laser straight up initially and made that hole there. And I just wondered if the whole planet could like rotate, just like I don't know, and it's just a Death Star laser that just beams. But no, I think it would be way cooler if it took off, if it was a ship too, and it could actually just move. But I don't know. I feel like we never return to Malachor, right? Like this.
No, this is
it's one
dead
and done
in the water. Yeah,
but I guess it did blow up. The whole thing it did go kaboom.
It did go kaboom, indeed. But yeah, I think it's cool that they position Maul in a way that is anti-Empire as well in his own way. Obviously, his history with Palpatine is not a positive one. But I did really, really enjoy that angle, like I've got my own reasons for wanting the Empire to fall, like all that stuff. I'm curious if it's beyond his relationship with Palpatine that he wants the Empire to fall.
Yeah, and it's confusing whether he's saying this to just get on Ezra's good side and the people's good side, or if he truly means these things, because I
believe him there.
Yeah. He says. I mean, they took his family away from him. They killed his brother. And all this stuff. They've they've taken his whole life away. I feel like that's probably enough. I feel like he never got any credit. He got sliced in half and just thrown down a pit, and then that was kind of it. So I feel like, hey, that's enough to have, want the Empire gone. But I feel like this dude wants more than just the Empire gone. He wants everyone gone. The end game is this is before Avengers Endgame, right? Like this is it, it's before that era.
By 3 years, I think.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. Just maul the original Thanos here, actually, in Star Wars universe, and the gauntlet just happened to be an ancient Sith pyramid. But
giant pyramid, yeah.
No, that was my shot of the second episode. Was either when Vader comes down on his TIE fighter, standing on top of it,
it's a classic.
Which is. Okay, it doesn't matter, and like this isn't like it shouldn't be a thought that is in my head. But if Vader is on top of the TIE fighter, right? Did he pre-program the flight code to like stop exactly right there?
He's being a dramatic bitch.
Yeah. So like if he's out of the ship, he had to like say like, all right, I want you to go slow and then park right there so I can look all menacing. And it's I love just thinking of Vader as this dramatic diva kind of that needs to.
Yeah, no, I mean it's exactly what he is. It's incredible. It's the Anakin Skywalker in him peering through a little bit is whenever he wants to be a fucking diva. But my favorite shot of the second episode is whenever he delivers the line, "Then you will die," and it's like zoomed in on his face being revealed underneath the mask and stuff. I like that a lot.
It's the only part of, I mean, it's that part of the episode has a lot of emotions kind of going places. But I don't know, I was thinking, which is surprising. I thought I would be like a baby crying these episodes, but I feel like I've actually had more emotional resonance to just episodes before. Like whenever it was just kind of the smaller stories and just some like the part that gets me the most here is not Ahsoka and Anakin. It's actually whenever Kanan returns and whenever Hera sees him for the first time. That's like that. I was like, holy shit! I don't know why that hit me.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there is a lot of emotionality in these scenes, and I think that's part of the reason there is that we are uber familiar with it. Like, it's one of those things where it probably did affect me on the first time I watched it, but I don't know. I guess it's hard to say. I don't think that this calls for as much. I don't know. I guess the bottom line is that I don't care about Ahsoka as much as I used to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think if I did, this would still hit hard. Because I watched this for the first time fresh off of Clone Wars ending. So when you get to this is a fucking moment, like this is ridiculous. I don't know if I've grown. I don't want to say grown tired because I still like the character. It's not like I don't like the character. It's just that I feel like I might have gotten burnt out by the character to a degree. There's a big part of me that the constant debate that I have internally and that I see externally in other places is whether or not Ahsoka actually should have died here.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of building the world between worlds, which is already a really narratively messy thing to play with, it ends up being good for Ezra's story, but whether or not it's good for Ahsoka's is to be determined, I feel like. And whether it's good for Star Wars at large, I feel like is to be determined as well. But like, I don't know. Everything after this, I'm just kind of okay with that involves Ahsoka. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like, all right, because I'm not big on the Ahsoka season. I'm not big on Ahsoka season 1. The Mandalorian and the Jedi episode of The Mandalorian was a cool backdoor pilot. But then beyond that, she's in one episode of Rebels later on, and it's in the world between worlds.
Yeah. Wow, man. Yeah, I guess it is kind of like Dave Filoni's baby a little bit. So I feel like he can never let her go, or just I feel like he's always gonna want to make her important and everything. But yeah, I don't know. You're kind of right. She is, as of late, losing steam. Yeah, and it used to be like, I don't know. We did our top. I think it was a 100 Star Wars favorite
Yeah.
characters at one point. Now I feel like she was like easily top 10 or 20. Like I feel like.
Yeah, she was top 10 on both our
Yeah,
lists, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I don't know if we were to redo that right now. I don't know.
A sense of obligation might place her there, but I mean, she would probably still be top 20, but like, I don't think she'd be top 10. And that's why I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that might be unfair to the character, but I feel like one of the things that is immovable is real world biases, I have an inability to separate Ahsoka in my head from Dave Filoni, who, while I do appreciate a great, great deal of what he's done with the Star Wars universe, the poison started here. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as what his sensibilities lead us to, it started here. This is the first example of being like, all right, now I'm gonna bring this character back, and I'm gonna do like, I don't know. I shouldn't call it poison because it's not like it's actually killing the franchise or anything. But the I don't know, Filoni's sensibilities, I feel like they become something new after this.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of like, to know that Ahsoka was so easily a top 10 character, and only with more material has she fallen. That's not a good sign. Like that character.
Well, it's not a good sign, but like the idea that she should rise higher is also kind of not like, that doesn't make a lot of sense either. Like she was already in an entire show. She was in an entire season of another show. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff that already involves Ahsoka.
Yeah, man.
I think it's a simple oversaturation problem. I guess I'm trying to think of. We don't have another character that's done quite what this character has done. As far as popping up in various material and being all over the place and kind of everywhere. Like this doesn't really exist on screen for us with any other character. So there's no one to really directly compare her to. But I don't want to come off as overwhelmingly negative because I do still love the character. I just question some of the decisions made around the character.
Yeah, no, I do agree, and I think it is kind of a pit of just the current state of Disney and everything like that right now. But then also a thought that just hit me is like, as Star Wars evolves, like usually it's the new characters that I have never met before that I end up loving way more than anyone. And like someone like Cassian, who in Rogue One was just I never really had much feelings for Cassian. Like he was in Rogue One, and the ending was, it gets me to cry like crazy. Yeah. But after Andor, he's easily up there. Like he is one of the top people in all of the universe up there, and that's right. It goes to show that, I don't know, that it can just go one of two ways, where if you're kind of trying too hard to force the character in, it just might not be the best. But if, you grab a character that has just never really been expelled upon or just never really been explored, and great things happen.
Now, what if at the Battle of Scarif on the beach side, a portal had opened up behind Cassie and he got pulled through. And then he got plugged in to a story later on, as if nothing had really happened.
You're right. It is the same thing. It's like
it is.
Oh my God.
And I don't want to. I mean, like, I don't like to think about it like it's the same thing, but it is the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. So like, I don't know. It feels weak, right? Like, I don't know. And then to hurt the character of Ahsoka, it's not like she appears back there years later. She's still there in this moment.
Huh. Yeah,
So
I guess
now she sits the rebellion out the rest of the time.
I'm still actually kind of lost as to like what happens to Ahsoka after this point. Like the whole time and everything just it confuses me every time. So
the reason it's confusing is because she can't do anything for a couple years
until Ezra comes back, like in the World Between Worlds and meets her. That's like the time in which she can finally do anything, or like because she does have her Morai bird, right? But that's just kind of her way to check in on things, and that's it. Or, her dynamic actually, like I've never fully gotten it down. I don't think.
Yeah. So, within the timeline, like Ahsoka gets pulled out of that fight, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By Ezra years later.
Mm-hmm.
She is not, 2 years do not pass while she gets plugged back in minutes later. Like, whenever they return to base, she's still on Malachor. Like, she's there, alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So the problem with the World Between Worlds in this scenario is that now she sits the rebellion out the rest of the time.
Yeah, and you need Callus to literally become Fulcrum now. It's like, it's like you had this perfect Fulcrum figure to lead the rebellion, and then now it's like, well, we'll kill her, but not really, actually.
Not really. No, she's still alive, but you won't know that, and you won't see her for a couple of... Like, And now there is the perspective that as long as she's alive, Vader will always be after her, and so will the Inquisitors. And if she's with the rebellion, it's, like she could be doing a classic Yoda, Obi-Wan, Luke choice here, and just kind of being like, all right, well, that's enough of that. I guess that to protect them, I've got to take a step back, and that makes sense. But I don't know. That's just kind of, it's just kind of a lot. Like, it's just kind of a lot. And I wish that this could have been... Because the other perspective, the flip side, is if Vader did actually kill Ahsoka here, what narrative purpose does that serve?
Yeah.
Like, we know Anakin's evil. We know he's gone. We watched him kill children in Revenge of the Sith. Like it's not like this adds a layer to his darkness that we didn't know he was capable of. No, like so, it would just be kind of offing Ahsoka for no particular reason, and then we'd be back in the same place where we're like, well, she should have just stayed in the fucking rebellion and fought. Like I guess ultimately, while these are really lovable episodes, maybe the problem is that they had to do that at all. I guess that if you planned on keeping Ahsoka around in any capacity, doing this fight was a bad idea.
Yeah. Imagine if this was the only person that Vader couldn't kill. Like this, like he says everything and like, yeah, no, well, because he says the Emperor will show you mercy. Just join me and tell me where all the Jedi are and we'll be good. He's like, I maybe that was like, I don't want to kill you. Please just join me and actually so we can live together. But then maybe it's like every step he just keeps trying to be like, no, just please join me. Like, act like, please. Like, I can't, not saying that I can't kill you, but just like every time he tries to strike, or I don't know, something just like stops him and he just doesn't quite get there and he can't actually fully do it. But
I guess I think that lessens the impact of Luke's impact on him. Like I think that don't get me wrong, I think that's cool. And I would think that I wouldn't complain per se if that were the route they went. But I imagine that's why they didn't go that route, is so that Luke is the sole, not thorn in his side, but light in his heart. Like that's kind of the last vestige for him. I think that I think he's just too far gone. I don't think that this is something... there's a line that Ahsoka delivers that is my favorite line of the second episode, which is, I won't leave you, not this time, which is an incredible line, with just a heavy hitter there. But in order for Anakin to fuel his dark side contempt, one of the things that he has to likely look back on is Ahsoka leaving. You know, I imagine that he resents her in his darkness. You know, she faked it. She faked her death and, you know, made it seem like she was gone and all that. Like, I think that if there's anybody alive aside from Obi-Wan who Vader genuinely hates, it might be Ahsoka.
That would have been really cool. Like, we get check-ins with Ahsoka and her, like, being in denial and seeing her side of everything. But the only thing we get with Vader really is, like, the apprentice lives, you know, and kind of just like little things, and he's just coming in to do business. But it would have been kind of cool if we just saw him on his Star Destroyer.
Got some of those like Vader comics moments where like he's remembering things, and you know they get flashed with his anger, and like there's just a lot of ways to communicate things there that this relationship deserves a lot more than what I think this show gave it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not that this show was the place for it either. That's why I'm like, it's complicated. You know, I don't want to say that. I don't think that's necessarily it's definitely not a bad thing. This episode's still really fucking cool. I question its impact in the long run.
It does feel like a lot of things were forced kind of in here, and like Maul just being on Malachor and that just being a thing, and Yoda being like, go to Malachor, you know, you'll find what you need. And it, you know, that's okay. That's just the will of the Force. That's just the writing room, whatever. I'm okay with that. But like, it would have been nice to know if I don't know, like Yoda knew that Maul was there, and that's give the audience the know. You know, Yoda doesn't have to tell Ezra and Kanan and all of them like, yeah, you're going to Malachor, you'll encounter a Sith temple, and you're gonna find Maul. I don't want that to happen. But like, it would have been just somewhat cool if this was like, this is a pretty large moment in time, like what Ezra does eventually. I don't know, I feel like this moment in time is very, very crucial, and and like it even Vader says, like, it's been foretold that you would be here. Like, he knew that Ahsoka would be here.
Yeah.
So like, there seems to be this mystery surrounding this event on both sides, from Yoda and from Palpatine. Like, Palpatine's telling Vader, yeah, you're going to see your old apprentice and you're going to have to kill her. Like, or get her to join, you know, or whatever. And Yoda just simply says, okay, go to Malachor, find Malachor. And it's just Malachor.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it is just the writing room and it's just Yoda has to tell them, or if it is like, Yoda understands. He's like, this is the only path forward. And
yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird state of the Jedi. There's not thousands of them and everything. This is these are the only Jedi that still exist, like all going to Malachor. And I feel like it's
as far as they know.
True. Yeah, I guess there are a few more stragglers, right? Let's see who else is out there at this time.
Well, there's an unknown quantity. We know a few for sure, but every once in a while, like Obi-Wan Kenobi showed us there was some other Jedi that was stowed away on Tatooine and stuff. Like, they're just kind of about, you know, hiding. So like,
hopefully one day when Cal Kestis gets in the mix, I don't know. I'm hoping he gets his actual live action and/or animated kind of appearance. Would be cool to see him, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be completely honest if I said that these episodes didn't actually hit as hard as I thought they would. And it's not that they are still great episodes, but like, I think I overhyped them a whole lot going into them before. And I think it just goes to show that I do like the smaller, more family connected kind of storylines where it isn't just the cool Star Wars stuff. Like, I have no problem seeing Inquisitors fight and all this stuff, but
the best moments in this episode, you know, like, and I don't want to take away from the Anakin Ahsoka moment. That is still a good moment. That's still cool. You know, like, it is still a great, like, whenever she realizes like Ahsoka, you know, she hears that and she like gasps and turns around. Like, that's great stuff, you know, like, I do love that. But the best, like, the moment for me in this episode that I look back on and go, oh, I loved that, was whenever Kanan reaches to Ezra and goes, help me there. And he's like, Kanan, your eyes. He's like, it's okay, we can't deal with it. Like, I love that moment. You know, like that is the most important moment to me. And then, like you said, whenever the whole end, whenever they get back to base and Hera sees, like, he didn't know the last time he saw Hera was, he doesn't know this either, the last time he saw Hera. And I say that vaguely because we know it's not. But
no, that's even worse. Oh no.
Yeah, it's a lot worse. It's a lot worse. But then Rex, like them looking at Rex and Rex realizing Ahsoka is gone, you know, like that, and she's not gone. So like it's there's just a lot going on here, and the music at the end of this episode, dude. The Kevin Kiner fucking cooked. The build up and the build up and the build up and the build up and the tour through the ghost and then landing on Ezra with the Sith holocron, like just fucking killer, dude.
Little duel of fates in there too, you know. I feel like I heard a little bit of it. I don't know. Whenever there was some fighting going on, so. Man, yeah, this, you know, I did say I was underwhelmed, but I mean, there's so much going on here that I can't really say that I was disappointed with these episodes.
No, but I'm with you. There was we've talked previously about how the Force-focused episodes are not as fulfilling as the Rebels-focused episodes. And the good news is, going forward, there are very few Force-focused episodes, as far as I recall, up until like the culmination of it. And by the end of the show, the culmination of it, they're intertwined. They are one and the same. Like the Force stuff is integral to the rebellion. So that's what ultimately makes that pay off there at the end. But yeah, I mean, the stuff with like we've got a lot to look forward to in the next couple seasons. Obviously, we'll have to take a little break for Skeleton Crew. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, and we got the man coming in. Thrawn's making his way in, and you know Ezra. I guess the only thing I don't like about Ezra is his haircut. I don't know. The short hair just doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah, he had to grow up a little bit, I guess.
Yeah,
but
okay. That's all right. But no,
he grows it back out. We know he grows it back out.
Just a cool random little bit of a fact that I just saw is that the voice of the holocron, the temple, is the same voice as Asajj Ventress. Whoever. I guess it doesn't have her actual name here. I don't know. It just says the voice actress that voices Asajj Ventress. So I feel like they could have put her real name in there, but I don't know. I feel like it did sound a little familiar. I don't think they're trying to go with that it is her. You know, that's
not
I
don't think they are either.
The thing there, but man, yeah. No, these I don't know. It got me to think of random, you know, bigger Star Wars implication things of like just all of. I don't know, this battle station, if the Jedi have like if back in the day, if they had something actually equivalent to this, you know, I don't know, but a light version that could counter, I don't know. It was just, I was going down the rabbit hole with this pyramid and everything, but no, I mean, beautiful looking episodes. They sounded great. Like everyone was performing out their ass. So it's like, yeah, I've been shit. Like I don't think I've been shit talking the episodes, but it's like no, these are still some peak Rebels here. But
it is. It's a great couple episodes. It just invites a little bit more discussion because I feel like it is kind of a first step into a larger world. There's a little bit of a universe expansion that happens here that we don't know strictly yet, you know, like if you are watching it for the first time, but we know on the other side of the show that it is. So like we just had a little bit more context, I think, and we're on the other side of the Ahsoka series, and it's, you know, once upon a time, I don't think I would have had any complaints or any sort of conflicting feelings about this episode, and now I do, which is an interesting way to look at it. But do we want to go ahead and do some trivia? Call it good there.
I think we might be there. Yeah, I think that's it from me. But...
All right. Then let's do it. Do you want to kick us off here?
So this one, it is a little bit up in the air. So I think there isn't really a solidified answer. But I'm looking at the wiki, which I mean, this is probably the best answer we're going to get. But with the introduction of holocrons, this episode, I was just more curious for myself of how many times a holocron, either Sith or Jedi, has just appeared on screen. Not in books, not in the video games. I guess they do appear there a lot. But just canon-wise, on screen, every time a holocron has been shown up, and I would say, like, if this same one that Ezra has right here, whenever it just shows up again next season, that doesn't count as 2. That is just one of those like, how many holocrons are out there that we have seen on screen.
And does this apply to video games as well?
No, this I guess at least on here it says that those are non-canon for whatever reason there. So it is just the shows and movies if they have them in there. But yeah, so just...
I don't recall a holocron in a movie. The closest thing to holocrons in movies is The Rise of Skywalker with the Wayfinders, but those aren't holocrons.
Yes. That was the one trick, I guess, that would have been in there, but you got that out quite fast, out of the way. I thought that it was a holocron, but no, Wayfinder. But
yeah, I remember when that came out, everyone was like, are those basically just holocrons? Like, people were like, why aren't they just holocrons? It was kind of what people thought at the time. They're like, why call it a fucking Wayfinder? But I remember one in Clone Wars, at least one in Clone Wars. We've got the Jedi one that Kanan also has. Is the training holocron a different holocron? I think I'm gonna go 4.
I guess I don't know if the training holocron is a different one, but the number I was 3. That I guess I thought it was just the 3 that Clone Wars for the 1, and then the 2 that we've seen here. But I thought that the ones in the sequels would have been included for sure. So my number was just way inflated for me. But yeah, I guess the video game does have a couple in there, so it does kind of complicate. That's why this question felt like it. There's no real kind of solid answer.
Yeah, no, I went with 4 because the one she's watching Anakin's lesson on.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the same one as the one Kanan already has. That's why I went with a separate one. But Ezra does say, I use this on occasion to, I've watched this lesson before. He's really good. So maybe it is the same holocron. So like,
I feel like you got the points though. I'm comfortable. You even went the extra credit. You knew the sequels definitely they weren't involved and that they were something different. And then you got you got every single one that was there. So I feel like
kick ass. Kick ass. All right, I appreciate it. But mine's a little bit of a 2-parter. I'm only looking for one answer particularly. How many Oscars? Has John Williams won for Star Wars?
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you a range of, let's say, 10 to tell me how many nominations John Williams has gotten at the Oscars, period.
Okay. So how many awards has he won them? And then... how many times has he been nominated?
If you are within 10 of the total nominations, I'll give it to you.
Okay. Well, has he won?
Well, I should say it's not this number. But if it were 86 nominations, and I overshot it like crazy for the record.
Okay.
If it were 86 nominations, if you get between 80 and 90, I'd give it to you.
Gotcha.
It's not like you have a range of 20.
Yes. I got
from 96 to 76. Okay, cool.
Okay. So, wins. I feel like, let's see.
Particularly for Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
For Star Wars.
Because...
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Because, the dude has gotten many outside. But Star Wars, has he... Oh, man. I feel like he's gotten one for every movie. Like, I don't... or at least a nomination for sure. I guess so. That's in there. I feel like a nomination per movie, 100%. But, man, it feels like he's gotten one every single movie. So that would be at least 9 wins. And then... did he do Rogue One and Solo, and did he win for those 2? Okay. So there would be 11. Did he... there's no way... yeah, if he won every movie, I guess. That'd be the only way. Oh, but did he? I'm gonna say he didn't win 2 of them. I don't know why. I'm just gonna say maybe just 9 because that's how many actual, just non-Skywalkers. I don't know, just out of the main movies. I think wins. I'll go 9. Nominations. Man, can it really? Is it really that high? I'm gonna say, because how could it be?
His nominations include Best Score, Best Original Song.
Oh, okay. Multiple categories. I didn't even
categories.
Okay, I'm thinking just
it's
one
not
per
just
movie.
Best Score.
Hello. Okay, so actually, I'm gonna take back my guess of 9, and I'm actually gonna go with. Do I double it? Probably not. Probably not quite double. I'm going to go with just a good old 14 wins. That's coming out of nowhere. It felt just a little more than 9. I'm going to go with 14 wins, 25 nominated. I'll go somewhere in between, in the 20s, I feel like is kind of right, but it's probably the 30s. I don't know.
All right.
So but those are my finals.
14 wins for Star Wars alone. And 25 nominees total. So you way overshot the wins guess, and you way undershot the nominations guess.
Okay. Wow.
For Star Wars, and this was astonishing, he's only won 1 Oscar.
Wait, what?
He only won an Oscar for Star Wars on the first movie. He didn't get nominated for the prequels. Which is insane.
Wow.
That is at least I believe that's the case.
Man, yeah, that's earth shattering. I guess I thought that the dude. I mean, maybe I'm just mixing up all of his other wins and just all of his other franchises that he's done.
He is the most nominated person in the history of the Academy.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
with 54 nominations.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. The dude
54 nominations. He's won 5 total Oscars.
Wow.
All
Really?
together, which is insane as well. I thought he'd won more as well, but he won Best Music, Scoring Adaptation, and Original Score for Fiddler on the Roof. He won Best Score for Jaws. He won Best Score for Star Wars. And he was nominated for Empire. He was nominated for Raiders. He won for E.T. He was nominated for Return of the Jedi. He was nominated for every indie movie.
Raiders didn't get it?
Didn't win. Didn't win Raiders, which is crazy. Wasn't nominated for a single of the prequels, which is insane.
What the fuck?
And was nominated for all 3 sequels, but didn't win any there.
That is not at all what I would have thought, but I guess the point of trivia. Now I do know that. I guess 1 win from Star Wars and that's it. That I would have never thought that. I don't know why.
No, I would.
I was under the assumption that he won 1 from each movie probably. I don't that's just kind of how I've been going. But
damn, yeah, he won for Jaws. Fiddler on the Roof was his first Oscar. And that was for adaptation and original song score. I don't know if that's the same as Best Original Dramatic Score, but he won for Jaws, Star Wars, E.T., and Schindler's List. Those are the ones he's won for. So it's been 30 years since he won an Oscar. Man. But he's been nominated since then for Sabrina, Nixon, Sleepers, Amistad, Saving Private Ryan, Angela's Ashes, The Patriot, AI, Artificial Intelligence, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Catch Me If You Can, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Memoirs of a Geisha, Munich, The Adventures of Tintin, War Horse, Lincoln, The Book Thief, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Fablemans, and Dial of Destiny. So that's what he's been nominated for since he last won.
That's it?
Not to mention the 30 prior.
Yeah, the dude. Is anyone even going to come close to him? Is there any who's the next?
I
just
don't know.
Oscar-wise,
Let's see.
runner up of
most Oscar nominations.
Yeah, because I feel like I wonder if the gap between 1 and 2 is just stupid. I mean, is there anyone above him, or is he through this? Did you know that he is the most nominated?
I knew he was the most nominated.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder who 2 is.
Wait. He might be the most nominated person alive.
So
the most total nominations for a person is Walt Disney.
Okay. That's
which is kind of insane to be behind that, I mean, after Walt Disney though, it's John Williams. And Walt Disney also holds the record for most Oscars won, which is 22. Most nominations received for a single film, 14, which were Titanic, La La Land, and All About Eve. Let's see.
Wow. Yeah, I guess Walt Disney's kind of a cheat code. That is, that makes sense now that you do say that, I guess. But man, I guess John Williams kind of a cheat code too. But that's just off his raw talent. Well, I guess Walt Disney was just that. I guess he just kind of had it like that too. But I feel like, is it truly all Walt's creations that he's getting these awards for? But John, his awards and nominations feel like that is his work and only his work, really. While Walt's is I don't know, I could be thinking of it wrong, but I feel like there's a lot more people involved. That
just
to
give you a reference. The most nominated actor of all time has 33 less nominations than John Williams. And it's Meryl Streep.
Damn. Oh my God. Wow. 33 less. Yeah, that is the gap.
She's been nominated for 21 different performances, which is actually fucking insane. But regardless, we've got some very talented people living, and John Williams is definitely one of them. So I just wanted to give him another little tidbit because I love the music in this episode and I love music questions. But I think with that we can conclude this episode and the first 2 seasons of our Rebels rewatch. We will be back next week with the 2-episode premiere of Skeleton Crew. I am so very excited. We will be covering that every 2 weeks is the idea. I believe it is an 8-episode season. And we will be doing 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Similar to what we did with Rebels, except there will be actual 2-week gaps because the episodes need to come out. So we've got Skeleton Crew coming up. We are going to be wrapping up our Indiana Jones watch through here pretty soon on the Sentimentalists. And after Indiana Jones, we are heading over to Lord of the Rings. Very excited for that. I believe that this is Thanksgiving week, right?
It is. Yeah, tomorrow.
All right. So tomorrow, we've got a little live commentary coming your way on the Penny Bloom Dispatch of The Batman. Very excited for that. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Watch The Batman and listen to us talk about it. That'd be a good old time. Let's see. We are currently doing Death by Television, and actually next Monday is our first episode on Dune Prophecy. We'll be discussing the first 3 episodes of Dune Prophecy. Now, we got a lot going on. Death by Television, Sentimentalist, Penny Bloom, and Fulcrum. All of those places always have episodes. You need to be subscribed. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, just go to the Penny Bloom Dispatch channel, and there you'll have access to everything we do. And if you're on social media, you should follow on TikTok at Penny Bloom Dispatch, on Twitter at Penny Bloom Pod, and we'll keep you up to date on everything we've got going on. But yeah, come on back next week and for the weeks to come for some Skeleton Crew. Cannot wait. It's Star Wars season, baby. New Star Wars. Let's fucking get it. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, for light and life.